Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
Enough of this frivolity, because it's 7.5 minutes past 10 o'clock and we are the Two Blokes Chatting radio show. Please, Robert, tell us who is on the bike.
Well, we're having yes, he is on the bike actually. We're having a second crack at David Brookes. He was coming down to Anglesea around the Christmas period to do a little fundraiser for the Anglesea Football Netball Club. Struck down with illness, had to cancel the show, but they're back next Saturday night. And to promote that, but also talk about the life and times of David Brookes, he is on the line. Brooksy, good morning and welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Good morning to the two blokes. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Now, you've informed me you have broken a record. We've interviewed a lot of people in the 141 episodes of the show, but never someone riding a bike.
That's true. I'm riding there's a song, isn't there? Riding along on the push.
That's it. By the Mixtures.
That's right.
Radio. That's it, the Mixtures, yeah.
The film clip taken riding along Beaconsfield Parade in Middle Park.
Well, there you go. This is the place to come for trivia questions, Brooksy. Now, we've got a little rule, well, not a rule, but something we try to do every time we interview someone, to ask them a question they've never been asked before. Now, there's a bit of a drum roll because Neil's got one for you, and we might as well get it away early.
Yeah, get this one in early. Well, I've been fascinated, David. Your nickname Brooksy. Your name's David Brookes. Where did the nickname come from?
Brooksy. Quite funny that, because I'm actually doing a book about my life. And in England, I was Brookie, Brooky. But when I came to Australia, you put S-I-E on everything.
Yeah.
Or I-E, like Barbie. So I got Brooksy, I want a tinny. I'm going to the Barbie. I'm going to the G. So I went from Brookie to Brooksy as soon as I landed in Australia.
Well, Rob and I went to see, we had dinner at the Geelong West Giants Football Club, not very far from where we are here, one night, and they said, righto, bit of shush, we're going to name the team for Saturday. There were 22 names given out, none of whom were real names, and it was all Brooksy and Fridge and Brick and Davo, and we had no idea who anyone was in the naming of the team.
Yeah, Aussies don't like that. They like to put nicknames and everything. Like the MCG, the G.
Yeah, that's because Collingwood supporters can't spell MCG.
So, Brooksy, before we give the Anglesea show a bit of a pump up, let's go all the way back to. We won't go all the way back to England necessarily, but you've obviously come to Australia. What was the reason for that? And was there great trepidation as you were sailing out here?
Okay, well, going back to 1981, I was playing soccer in England, and I was going down the ladder. I was playing pro, then I was going down like VFL, and I wasn't going anywhere. And I was playing this game on a November wet and windy day, and there was a bloke I was playing against, and he just said to me, I've just come back from Australia playing football, it's great. And word of a lie, I said to him, get me there. We had a drink in the bar, and 2 months later, I was in Australia on a 3-year contract to play football. And I'm still here on this wonderful holiday 2 years later.
But which club took you on for a 3-year contract way back then?
Yeah, I came out for a team called Ringwood Wilhelmina, who were then in the top league. I spent 3 years there, and then I moved on to Box Hill. I played for a Greek club, John Caulfield, and then Doncaster, and then a coach as well. So football has been a big part of my life, all through my life, yeah.
So at any stage during there, did you become David Brooksopoulos?
No, but I was just talking about that. When I went to Caulfield, it was all Greek, and I only know them into like British clubs, Australian clubs, and they had my first octopus on a barbecue. I'd never even seen an octopus.
Well, of course, the octopus is good because if you get a lamb, you're going to get 4 legs of lamb. with an octopus.
That's true, yeah.
Although they're a lot smaller, obviously, but you get 8 legs.
Feed the whole family.
Yeah.
All these Greeks were cooking it and smoking, and well, gosh, I'm back in Greece.
Now, Brooksy, I have the privilege of speaking to a Lancastrian regularly on my Monday show about cricket, and he's, like you, has come to Australia and sort of hasn't left from a long time ago. It wasn't long after he got here, he was bailed up in the corner of the pub. Righto, which team are you barracking for? Were you put the same pressure on with our AFL competition, or were you able to keep away from that in your little soccer world?
No, I love the game. And for us, Brits, there's only one team to support.
Is there?
They were red, white and blue, the Union Jack, and they got a British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Bulldogs.
You went straight for them?
Straight, no, well, actually, no, it took a bit of time. It probably took me about 15 years. Actually, no, it started when we actually, during the Music Men, when we started doing football gigs, for the AFL.
Yeah.
When we were doing corporate gigs and footy gigs and things like that. And that's when I really got into it, And I thought, I better get a team here. And then someone enlightened me about the British connection. So I absolutely love it.
Well, at least you had a choice. There's two others, Mike Brady, who is famous for writing the Up There Kazali, and Nick Speaker I spoke of. Both were basically threatened with their life if they didn't pick a particular club, Collingwood in Mike's case and Richmond in Nick's case. So at least you got to have a choice, which is good.
Thank you very much.
So people would be familiar with your work starting off on Red Faces. That just didn't happen by accident, I suspect. I'm guessing the group of you were together somewhere, a certain level of alcohol had been consumed and the idea was generated. Is that fair?
Very true.
Why doesn't that surprise me a lot?
In one sense, you just summed it up. We're all mates from soccer, and I just used to get up and do it in the pub or wherever. And the funny thing is I used to get thrown out half the time for doing it, because I got everybody joining in. And then we just went on, hey, Red Faces, 8th of August, 1988, 88, just for a laugh. We won $500. We went straight to the pub after and spent it because it was $50 each. And that was it. And then we started getting in the pubs for free. Letting us in. Instead of throwing us out, they're letting us in.
It was the great Jimmy Barnes who said he learnt to fight because he used to play at the Largs North Hotel or Largs Pier Hotel in South Australia, because if they were no good, they'd get thrown out, and that's how they learned to fight. That wasn't an issue for you?
Yeah, no. He's a bit of Scottish in him, Jimmy, so there's a big difference between the Scottish.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah, they'll give you the Scottish kids kiss, the headbutt. No, all fun and games. That's what I'm saying in what I'm writing about, is that the way the Australian public kind of took to us because the power of Hey and Red Faces, we were a bit like Paul Hogan at the time, that, hey, they're having a go. We're not up ourselves, we're having a go. And the Aussies love that. They like anybody having a go. They don't like people who are getting ahead of themselves, and it's a larrikin, And it's funny, what summed it up for me, you're talking about a larrikin. I just arrived here in Australia, and Australia won a boat race, right?
Yes.
Your Prime Minister, Bob Hawke, at 8 o'clock in the morning after this boat race, turns around to the cameras and says, if any boss sacks anybody today, they're a bum. And I'm going, the Prime Minister's talking like that, and we have Margaret Thatcher, and it's a 3-day week. I'm going, I'll have a bit of this.
Yeah, I suspect Maggie didn't have quite as many cans as Bob might have had that morning.
No, he'd have a few amber ales.
Allegedly. Just say that on the end of everything.
Brooksy, the creativity of your little group, was it one of you or you yourself that started the ditties and others added, or was it always a group thing?
Yeah, it was a bit like that. We just come up. It's very much ad hoc and come up with it in the early days, and then later on we'd get together and we do personalised ones, personalised skits for people. Yeah, so it was really a group thing, And being mates for a long time, there was no arguing or anything like that. And we still are mates. In fact, we're still performing, which is ridiculous. And I'm 70 in about 3 months. We're the oldest boys band in the world.
And did you're talking about getting ahead of yourselves, because there's a debate about the tall poppy syndrome, and the Australian thing is, by all means, be a larrikin, be a clown, but never get ahead of yourself. That's when you deserve to be clipped. When you've got the bit of notoriety, did the creative sessions become a little bit more intense because you needed to come up with something new and fresh, or did you just roll along casually?
No, I don't think we ever. No, we ever did. It just. I think it's because we were soccer mates and we played soccer together against each other. We had that spirit within us. There'd be some disagreements, like in any football team, but we were a team, and we went for one another, and we were mates. So I never thought about that, actually, that question. But yeah, there's no fallout. And the only fallout was when it went crazy, when we did a tourist commercial. Next minute we did an album with Michael Gudinski, and we were going all around Australia, and we'd meet on a Friday night, get the plane to Sydney and come back Monday, all with hangovers, and the wives are saying, right, it's either the Music Men or divorce. We lost a few of the boys, but a few more were dying to get in it. I'll go to Sydney for free drink and hotel. Don't worry about that. So it was a bit of a revolving door as it went on, but it was good fun.
But I think one of the, if I can be momentarily philosophical, I guess there would be one or two lads who have been in a pub with one or two drinks under the belt who have started being silly, and I think in a way that's a good way to describe some of the things that you guys have done. And yet you guys had a crack. There'd be a lot of guys who go, I'm not going on red faces, they'd see me on the TV and I'd look like an idiot. There's something to be said, is there not, for if you've got an idea, have a crack.
I totally agree. But to be honest, we didn't really understand hey and red faces and the power of it. So from our point of view, because I'm writing about it, that Saturday night we went on, because we always used to go out in suits, because that's what we used to do back home. The idea was to go in our suits and all that, do this little thing on TV and then go out after, not even having any aspirations of what would happen to it, So, we're having a go, but it wasn't like, right, we're going to go on this TV show and then we're going to do album. There was never, ever any thought of that, Because if there was, the lads would have said, I'm not going doing that.
So, Brooksy, here we are 35 years beyond the Red Faces night. You've got this little entourage coming to Anglesea, which involves you doing a bit of your stuff, but you've got some other comedians, a bit of an Elvis impersonator. So it's quite the variety night. How long have you been involved in this style rather than just being all about the Music Men?
Well, where I live in Brighthorn.
Oh, you're in Brighton.
I'm in Brighton.
You have come up in the world, lad.
I have come up. I've never been living anywhere like this in England, I tell you now. And
on a clear day, you can see Geelong.
Yeah, and that's where I've just been now, and I'm like an iceberg, but it's still not cold yet. I've just been for a swim, and a member of the Royal Brighton Yacht Club, and it was about probably 6 years ago. We have a great venue there, and I thought, a lot of these people here wouldn't go in the cities to watch comedy. I thought, maybe I should bring it here. So I started running comedy nights there for all the people in Bayside, and they've always really gone well. And I've had like Jim Owen, Kiddy Flanagan, Stubbsy, Dave O'Neill, Hughes has been on. I've had the who's who there. So that's what I've been doing, and I quite enjoy it. And the comedians trust me. I don't rip them off. They come down and have a good time. And then Wes Smith, who's been helping me with the comedy nights, lives in Anglesea, and got involved in the club. I said, why don't we do one here? So, my connection with the comedians, etc. I've got Richard Stubbs, who's absolutely hilarious, very good for that crowd, and also Dave O'Neill, who's probably the best at audience participation, and a fantastic Elvis singer. So I like to bring a bit of variety, so it's not just a comedy night, so there's a bit of a sing-along, because one thing, what we noticed with the Music Men, Australians love a sing-along. They love a good night out, you know. They love a real good sing-along after, and there's plenty with Elvis, don't worry about that.
The opportunity that the Music Men gave you to go to places, but also meet people. So the comedians' names that you've dropped, was it just a case of you found yourself in places with them, got to know them, developed friendships, and more importantly, as you said, the trust then that you could ask them to events and they'd happily come along?
Yeah. Well, you summed it up quite well there. Yeah, not talking all about me, but yeah, it is a network where they all talk and they know I put a good show on, and I'm an entertainer like them, so I know what they're looking for. Yeah, so it's a bit of respect, you know, and yeah.
So is there going to be a party bus on its way down from Brighton to Anglesey, or are you all coming separately from different directions?
Well, I don't drink now, so, you know. I think we're all going down different directions. Elvis is staying down there because he's got a caravan. So is
that where he ended up?
He's got his caravan. Yeah, he's got his caravan. Elvis, he's not leaving the building.
Well, you should tell Elvis when you're talking to him next that at 5 o'clock on 94.7 The Pulse down here in Geelong on a Saturday afternoon, we've got a very excellent program called For the Love of Elvis, and our mate Grant presents 2 hours of absolutely sensational radio, 94.7 FM. So if he's in his caravan on his way down here or on the app anywhere in the world, the Community Radio Plus app, he can listen in to the For the Love of Elvis.
He'd love it. Get a few new songs for his show. Be perfect.
Yeah, I use him a lot, and he's very good. He's absolutely brilliant and gets the crowd going. I always start off with him, you know, early in the night, gets everybody warmed up and all that, and then he'll finish off doing lots of songs after. You know?
Sounds very much like our mate Grant. He's very, very good, gets the audience going.
He certainly does.
Yeah.
Brooksy, are you still being creative these days yourself? Are you still writing ditties and things to add to the show?
Yeah, things will come up or things happen. Like we just sung some Trump songs, and they're flying on Instagram and things like that. We've done some Trump ones, you know.
Yeah, because Gladstone, small, Gladstone, small, Gladstone, small, it's probably lost on today's audience.
Yeah, it would be.
Because in the sporting world, of course, new heroes come along as they drop off the other end of the assembly line, like Gladstone probably has. But there seems to be this constant stream of material for someone who has got a sharp, creative mind.
Yeah. Well, the new Music Man, which we put out, which is on YouTube, we've done the world's leaders. We've done Trump, Boris, Kim Jong-un. And we've got Jimmy Barnes in the middle of that as well.
Now speaking of, I know Donald gives a fair bit of work, but my good, being a lad from the British Isles, Boris would be a comedian's gift from heaven, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's just a clown, isn't he? He's got the white wigs on him, you know, I'm a clown. and we do a Mick Jagger, because in the original, it was, hey, you get up on my clown, and it's now, I can do the Mick Jagger. I can't get no old age pension. I've got a walking stick, so I'm going across the audience with a walking. I can't get no old age pension. So yeah, we updated them, but you know. Anyway.
Well, we should tell you the other link, of course, with Geelong, and you mentioned His Royal Highness Boris Johnson. He was a school teacher at Geelong Grammar School for a while.
No, I never knew that.
Yeah, yes, he's been here. He's graced our region.
Oh, I never did. Is that where Charles?
Charles did his timber top year. He's year 9, I think it would be, when he was about 14 or something.
The King, wouldn't it be great if he went back there? The King.
What? The King and the Prime Minister. You could have Boris teaching Charles in the front row at Corio. I mean, you can't go wrong, really, can you?
There's some material for you to work with.
And the great Rob Cameron, who's sitting across the desk from me, of course, he styles his haircut very much on Boris Johnson's.
At least he's got some hair.
Not a lot.
No, that was very much tongue-in-cheek.
Righto, Brooksy, we have got the audience at fever pitch. They're busting to get down to Anglesey next Saturday night to see you. How do they go about doing that?
I'm I don't know.
Get in their car, drive down the Great Ocean
Right.
Road.
So what you need to do is there a website that they can book tickets through you, or do they just go to the Anglesea Football Netball Club Facebook page? And Aisha McWilliams will probably have everything ready for you to get a ticket.
Yeah, the club are running this. I'm just organising the community. The club are actually running it for the payments and things like that. Yeah, so I think it's on try booking, but it'll be on the Anglesey Football and Netball Club.
That's where we need to be next Saturday night, and that has produced two great footballers and netballers. Tegan Phillip played netball for Australia, and we know this gentleman named Patrick Dangerfield who goes around in the Australian footy scene. You probably need to write a ditty about him for the night, I reckon.
Yeah, it's funny because I just remembered now. I did one there probably, it might be 10 years ago now. No, 2016. And I had Warwick Kappa on. And it was quite funny because Warwick Kappa's going on. And there's a couple at the front, sat right at the front. And he gets them up to stand in front of him so he can recreate one of his high-flying marks. So he's on the shoulders and then somebody whispers in me, "That's Patrick Dangerfield's mum and dad."
And they will be there next Saturday night without doubt, as a lot of other
Fantastic
local dignitaries will be. Brooksy, great to hear your voice again. I hope you can stay fit and well till then, because you did come down. So you make sure you stay well this week in Brighton. Look after yourself, and we'll see you in Anglesea next Saturday night.
Thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank